A long time ago, on a comics page far, far away. Greetings and welcome to May the Panel Be With You, the Star Wars comic book show brought to you by the Punch-Up Entertainment Network. I'm your humble host, Mike Ergoni, and joining me, as always, the Ben's Frigg to my Tobias V, it's John Campbell.
Man, pick some more obscure references, Gergoni. I mean, these are too obvious.
Too obvious? Okay. I'll go more obscure next time.
Yeah, I know. My God, how about you just stop naming all the people everybody knows? Another Ben's Free reference. Oh, my God.
Hey, John, it's Ben's Fig and Tobias V. Very distinct, very original names.
I'm sorry. Yeah, completely. Never mind. My mistake. How could I forget these most important? They have a Disney Plus show, right? I think I made people on here. Anyway.
Sure they are the two stormtroopers that kicked Baby Yoda.
You know what? Based on how they are in this issue, yeah. Sudeikis and Adam Pally. They were the So yeah. I actually them doing what these guys do in this, I would love to see Sudeikis and Adam Pally play out some of these scenes.
That's fair. Yeah, because we are covering Star Wars from 1977, the original Marvel Star Wars, number 65. This issue originally came out in November of 1982. We're still in that weird period between when Empire has come out and the shocking revelations of Darth Vader are present, but we haven't gotten to Return of the Jedi, so we can't act on any of that information.
And we don't know about other shocking revelations that make parts of this book weird.
Hey, strap into Marvel Star Wars, where the sexual tension between Luke Skywalker and Leia Organa is real.
Oh, is it ever in this one? It is hot and heavy. Cut it with a knife. Damn.
Yeah, so we have got a creative team that is going to look pretty familiar. We've got David Michelini on plot and script. We've got Walter Simonson on plot and storyteller. We got a two-hander on this one. Tom Palmer on pencils and inks, Joe Rosen on letters, Glennis Ween on colors. We've got Louise Jones, eventually Simonson, as our editor, and as our Clone Ranger, we have Jim Shooter.
Hey! What do they think that means?
This is what the first thing I wanted to bring up, because what the Clone Wars was unknown. It was a line said by Obi-Wan Kenobi in A New Hope, and everyone's like, what the hell is a Clone Wars?
It is one of the most tantalizing lines in that movie where, like, being a kid, we've talked about that, where you're like, what is that? Clone Wars? Those words together was so insane to me as a kid, right?
And there were a few things that were pitched around in the canon, like prior to it being established later.
We covered an issue that was seemingly set during them, right? That Obi-Wan flashback mentions it's mid-Clone Wars, but not the way we know it.
Right, exactly. And he's on some diplomatic mission among the stars, which, you know, happened, but not the way we saw it there.
In that sweet black bodysuit. Like, what?
Yeah.
What do they think of Clone Rangers, though? Because we don't even know in what capacity they were using clones, so the idea of, like, clone troopers wouldn't come along to the prequel era and stuff like that.
Yeah, some of the original thoughts on, like, what the Clone Wars was this idea that where there were, like, maybe sleeper cells among the Republic that, like, of cloned people. Maybe
more like a secret invasion kind of thing.
Yeah. Maybe there was a whole thing where the Jedi were fighting clones of themselves, and it was dark Jedi clones.
All cool ideas. What it ended up being, though, I was so fascinated by the casual use of clone, and the idea of implying that there's a kind of clone soldier is fascinating to me.
Yeah, but anyway. It has no bearing on the issue we're talking about.
No, today. It doesn't. But you can't put the word clone in a Star Wars thing without us going,
It's a loaded word in this franchise. That's for
now
sure.
It is. It's so important to the franchise now. Yeah, well, here we go. It looks like Princess Leia's up to something based on this cover.
Yeah, we'll bring up the cover here because we're back in Princess Leia as spy mode. We've got Princess Leia fighting alone, so saith the cover, and also Luke Skywalker stands trial. Didn't he already do that?
I've said this to you before we started recording, that when I started reading this issue, I went, do I have the numbers wrong? Did we read this? But I'm like, I don't remember this happening, but it seems like it must have already happened.
But we've got this cover. We've got Princess Leia in full 007 mode, slinking around a corner, pistol upraised as an Imperial officer of some kind is crouching behind her.
On the Imperial officer and the look on his face is so wild.
And above him, there's a flashing sign that says, reactor critical, 60 seconds to meltdown.
You know what I like about this? Is this cover is specifically indicating the very end of the comic.
And look, this is a cover that delivers on what it shows.
It does. But as I was reading through, I'm like, oh, they're really not getting to the Princess Leia on her own and critical reactor. Oh, okay. All right, here we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, that spoils the ending a little bit.
But we are with a title below the marquee that says Golrath Never Forgets. Now, John, when you turn the page, it may have been a while since we heard the word Golrath.
Yeah, I've definitely forgotten what it was.
For quick refresher, it was a rebel base before we got to the planet with the weird psychic mice.
Yes, I knew that, of course, because they reference it in here as what it is. So I was like, but yes, I did not. I was like, oh, I remember that name sounds familiar, but yeah, I had forgotten about Golrath because here's the thing too. Every time you're like, it's issue 65, I'm like, it's that few, but then I keep remembering we take sojourns and other stuff a lot on the show, so. That's another thing that I think is hurting my memory. Also, these comics go right out of my head pretty fast because who could blame me? But they're really committed to this. Golrath never forgets, and then you turn the page and it says Golrath never forgets again.
Well, that's how you know he never forgets. He said it twice.
Yeah, but instead we get Rebel Law. Chung chung.
Guilty, guilty, guilty.
Oh, that's Kryptonian law.
Sorry.
Yeah. Guilty.
I don't know. You're wearing a Superman hat, John. You confused me.
Yeah. So yeah, that's my bad on that one. The thing about this is just like anytime they do stuff like this, and this is something we've never really seen in Star Wars, like the idea of like a rebel prosecution.
Yeah, we've seen like Jedi on trial, and we've seen like Old Republic Senate stuff, but this in particular.
The thing that gets me about this and reading it is just like, I'm sorry, you have the time, and the space and the resources to wait, the rebellion is an interesting thing in Star Wars to me because it's like stability as an organization ebbs and flows based on the needs of the story. Sometimes they're like way up against it and we're imminent, we have very few people and very limited resources. And then other times they can have a whole fucking courtroom scene and just,
This book in particular can swing wildly between that.
Yes,
I think
I mean the books more than the movies are fairly short. Because the movies have very distinct, they've really gathered up in New Hope, then they really get reduced in Empire, and then they've built back their forces in Return of the Jedi, it feels like.
Yeah, but even as established in the new Disney canon, I feel like we have a pretty firm, ebbs and flows of when the rebellion is more organized and when it's less. And we're seeing right now, as of this recording, we have the second season of Andor premiering, seeds of that rebellion coalescing, and we saw that as well in shows like Rebels. Here, I think they spent some time building a whole freaking courtroom.
Yeah, I'm like, when did you put this together? How often are they holding trials? The idea that when they get later to, gentlemen, push your guilty or not guilty buttons. Wow.
So we have this, I don't know what to describe it as, guilt pit that Luke Skywalker is standing in.
It feels very imperial. It's a very intimidating courtroom.
Okay, I'm gonna no prize this then. So, as we know, the rebellion is a group of scrappy people that have pulled together from across the galaxy to try to thwart the goals of the Empire, right?
Yeah.
They got to take every resource they can to like get that shit done. And that includes stealing from the Empire. So maybe one of the bog standard, like ready to go base building features of Imperial supply that they stole is the Judgment Chamber. And they just happen to have one. They've just dusted it off. This is us seeing it as they pulled the plastic off for the first time.
Judgment Chamber is the perfect name for this.
Because we've got Luke in this pit, and then the 3 judges sitting directly above him in these huge thrones, and they include Princess Leia, obviously, General Riken, and General Virtag.
Yeah.
And Virtag is a name we've never heard before, but Riken's been around.
Right. Yeah, and I'm just like, it's very, and like I said, my big thing is like, are they using this a lot? Are they frequently putting people on trial?
No, I'm saying this is the first time that like
this is we're taking it out for
10 minutes ago. They were told that there's a guilty and not guilty button, and the general's response to that was like, seriously, the Empire would just have this? That's crazy. I mean, I'm glad we have it now, but Jesus.
We turned off the trap door that just drops them into a pit of fire or whatever.
Right, exactly.
Because it seems like the Empire just kills people. I don't get the sense they're holding a lot of like court martials over there.
One button drops them into a pit of fire. The other button slowly lowers a giant thing with spikes on it from the ceiling.
Oh, God. But anyway, they're all watching a TV that is basically telling us previously on Star Wars.
Yeah, so we see that Luke is on trial. He's on trial for the death of Shira Bree. Remember her?
Yeah. He is actually, here are the specific charges leveled against him, because it's a serious rap sheet. Murder, theft, desertion, and treason.
It's a big list of whoopsies, that's for sure.
I gotta say though, treason is a tough case to make, based on what we've seen.
Sure. Think about this from just an outsider's perspective. All we really get is Luke goes rogue mid-dogfight, kills Shira, gets stripped of his command, steals the Millennium Falcon, and flies off to go do terrorism.
It's, I mean, I'll give you, it's light treason. Some light.
But anyway, he's down in this judgment pit, but he's got this calm demeanor about him.
Oh, can I also just say one more thing about the treason thing? That's rich, coming from people who are inherently rebelling against the government.
We're at the most like interesting time of the rebellion where they're trying to present themselves, at least in canon as we know it today, as this like alliance to rebuild the Republic, right? They're presenting a legitimate face to this galactic civil war, where before A New Hope, we have all these fractured cells just kind of doing a terrorism and there.
They're much more terrorists in prior to that.
You've got your Saw Gerreras committing a war crime or two.
Yeah. Hey, things had to be done. Decisions had to be made.
Whereas here they're trying to be like, look, we're trying to be better than the Empire, so we're going to dust off the Judgment Chamber so we can do this right.
I know, it does feel like they're really trying to be holier than thou here. Going like, see, we put our own people on trial. Anyway, let's go through this because they just tell you what happened in the previous issues.
Yeah, the whole next page is just like, by the way, this is what happened. Luke did an oopsie. He killed that person. He flew off. He got some information proving that she was, in fact, a Imperial saboteur. And then he came back.
Yeah. I mean, it's insane. It's like he did do all these things. I just love this. Like, he did do all these things, but then we found out one piece of information that makes it all cool. So you're good, buddy. And
they're projecting all of this to the entire Rebel base on Arbra here, and we get little snapshots of all these different people hearing or watching what's happening.
Yeah.
My favorite part is
nobody has any time. Nobody has anything else to do except for the guy who's loading something onto a ship while watching.
My favorite one is the middle panel, because we have this bit of dialogue here saying, however, he then stole a starship and as seen as in this computer simulation. So it's like no one was there to witness what he did, but we're going to create like a reboot style graphical simulation of it.
Here's what we imagine Luke did during this time.
This is a dramatic reenactment.
Based on testimony from firsthand witnesses, What are you doing, rebels? What a waste of everyone's time.
Anyway, they're going to render a verdict on this third page, and it turns out Luke is not guilty because he's Luke Skywalker. Come on.
Yeah, I know it is ridiculous that you even went through this level of detail to do this. But Luke's reaction, I laughed out loud at him being like,
Guys, Luke's face in this. If you're not watching us on YouTube, please come join us over there. If not, go to your Marvel Unlimiteds or other slightly high seas ways of getting this book.
We always say, you should really be reading this along with us. If ever there was a panel you have to see, it is the weirdest non-Luke Skywalker reaction where he's giving like a cringy, like nervous smile and a half-hearted thumbs up.
He's like,
he's reacting.
Here's what I think. I think this is supposed to be a genuine face, and Palmer fucked up the eyes.
It really does feel that, because it makes it seem like he's like, no, I did do all that shit, but I got away with it.
Yeah, exactly. This is some like Richard Nixon, I am not a crook stuff right here.
Good. Yeah, good call, guys. So weird.
It's a very weird face. And a book that's full of weird faces, but this one really rises to the top.
Yeah, I am also gonna put it on Palmer simply because I don't think Simonson is doing that.
Simonson's not doing the interiors here. Yeah.
Oh, is he not?
No, he's just on scripting and plot.
That's right. Yeah. Okay, I forgot that. I just saw his name and assumed there was art involved, but no, he's just plotting now.
Yeah.
Then I immediately loved everybody. And we saw everybody turned on Luke. And now all of a sudden they're going like, I always knew that guy was great. He was a good guy. Yeah, that Luke's guy. Never doubted him for a second.
It was so bad that no one would sit with him in the cafeteria.
Yeah. We specifically saw that everybody, if not outright, shitting on him, at least turned their back on him.
I will say, the one guy who actually like threw hands at Luke Skywalker, we do get a reaction panel of him on this page when he says, if you ask me, the whole hearing was rigged.
What evidence do you need, man?
This guy's just a Luke Skywalker hater from day one.
I said the second he showed up, this guy was bad news.
This guy This is the guy that goes like, the Death Star was an inside job.
I hear there wasn't even a Death Star. It was all fake.
Yeah. Then why did you join the rebellion? Well, I got to bring him down from the inside. But screw the Empire, too.
Yeah, I know. That exactly. I'm kind of a fence sitter.
Yeah.
Both sides are kind of wrong if you think about it.
Mm-hmm.
He's one of those guys. Look, everybody's got blood on their hands, okay? That's all I'm saying.
So I'm totally on board with this other rebel who's just like, oh, Milo, go play in a fusion reactor.
Fuck yourself, man. Jeez. I also just love the way he's drawn as like the scowliest guy with his mutton chops and his receding hairline. He's like, oh,
he's a harumph given human form.
Every time. Luke Skywalker. I hate him so much. Yeah. Why is he so handsome?
Meanwhile, with people we don't know, that's not true. We know one of these guys.
But I will say, the collective IQ of the rebellion goes way down in this issue, because these guys are pretty stupid.
I don't know. Thorbin's the one who puts all this together, and he's the guy who's been like Luke's solid second through the last few.
The guy who's just like, I love the guy who's just like, yeah, I got a mysterious orb that's glowing, or a mysterious rock that's glowing. Does that mean anything?
I mean, look, you can chalk this up to like sci-fi dum-dums. We get this in every episode of Star Trek, John.
Sure.
Oh, there's a mysterious black pool that talks about being a font of endless evil. Maybe we should try talking to it.
You're talking about Armus, and he took Tasha Yar from me. So never.
Maybe don't talk to the pool of endless evil. That's all I'll say.
He started it. A shuttle had crashed. No, okay.
So maybe
What
this guy
do
who
you
just
do?
needed a new paperweight said, hey, there's a fun glowing rock. What if I just picked it up?
By the way, one of the great Lower Decks jokes when they're prank calling Armus.
Yes. Among many, many great Lower Decks jokes.
So many great ones, but that one really got me. Really just like, oh, what a great pull, Armus. Embodiment of evil. Anyway, yeah. So these guys, yeah, it's just like, hey man, and then yeah, the other guy's like, the eyebrow cocked. What?
Yeah, that's Sergeant Thorben. Again, he's been like the solid voice of reason.
I don't know. I don't know,
dozen
Sarge.
issues.
It's glowing or something.
And so
Good, though.
Thorben is like, hey, you better show me that little souvenir you got right now.
Christ, what are you talking about, man? Whatever. It's got a clock counting down.
Meanwhile, in Leia's private quarters.
So private. Yeah, the doors are locked. Nobody knock. Do not disturb.
Yeah, well, brother and sister, about to get real intimate.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
No, John, no.
Hell yeah. Actually, I will say Thorben is a hero, if only for stopping incest that's about to happen.
Yeah. Again, nobody knows that these two are siblings. Yeah. So Luke is confiding in Leia that, like, hey, I wouldn't have gotten through with this without good friends like you, close friends, intimate very friends. Close. As we get closer, our foreheads almost touching.
Close friends. Yeah.
And then Thorben bursts in.
Oh, yeah. I will be haunted by the silhouetted thing of their heads coming together, and you're just like, oh no.
Yeah.
No.
But anyway, yeah, Thorben's like, hey, we got a big glowing rock. You better come down here.
Oh, you're right away. Yeah, no, we weren't going to do anything. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
No, it's all good, man. Yeah. So yeah, you better come down here. Something's glowing, and a guy is way too casual about it. And what they find is that this rock is projecting an image from The Empire Strikes Back.
No,
specifically. No, sorry. It's not the medical droid from Empire. It's when he had the Crimson Fever. That's right. But it looks like the medical droid that's in.
Same medical droid, just different place and reason for being.
He goes, you again.
Yeah. So what we find out is that the natural ore of Golrath, which is the planet where they had their base back in issue number 50.
Remember? No,
that's fine. Anyway,
if
that rock there loses heat at a rapid enough rate, it basically becomes a natural hollow projector.
This is bug nuts, man.
I mean, this is grade A sci-fi nonsense, and I'm here for it.
It is classic Gleep Glop.
So,
classic Gleep Glop.
As they figure this out, they're just like, oh, so wait, hold on. Our whole base there was basically recording us the whole time, and we didn't know it? And Thorben is like, yeah, precisely. And also, the whole reason that place was abandoned and we were able to use it as a base is because it's cooling down and wasn't viable as a mine.
Right. And so that means that the Empire, if they get their hands on this, can see everything we've ever done while we were there, basically.
Including trying to find their current base, Arbra.
Yeah. Oops. That's bad. Why wasn't I told about this?
I guess nobody knew?
Nobody knew.
I mean, as we'll find out next issue that the planet Golrath is inhabited by other people.
Yes.
So and nobody know about the hollow rocks that this place is made of?
Right. And so Leia's panicked. Her face is a little wonky there.
Again, it's the eyes.
Yeah, there's the eyes aren't sitting right with the nose, and
it's like one eye is slightly tilted.
Yeah.
It's trying to do a perspective thing, but it's...
But it just looks like her face is slanting. It's very weird.
Yeah. Anyway, everyone's suiting up. Get in your flight suits. We got to go.
Yeah, everybody, let's go. Everybody's going.
Everybody goes. Because on the next page...
Maybe a bad idea.
Maybe a bad idea. Anyway, we're going to cut to Golrath, though.
Oh, and an old friend.
This issue is chock-a-block with continuing continuity, and I honestly, I appreciate it.
I do. I don't really like the story, but I appreciate the continuity.
Because here's a guy that we actually do like. It's, formerly Admiral Geel, now Lieutenant Geel.
Lieutenant. We're going with the British.
Look, it's the Empire's full of evil British people.
But I get to bring back my Geel voice. The man who probably most likely speaks like this. Yes.
Because if you remember, Admiral Geel was the one who was in charge of transporting that big Imperial superweapon, which turned out to be a giant psychic crystal entity.
Right.
On that mission to stop the Empire from using it, that's when Luke Skywalker killed Chira Bree.
Yes, and actually we talked about it. I mean, look, they're the Empire. Obviously, I'm not rooting for anybody, but kind of unfairly, this guy, because we did talk about, he's one of the more competent officers we've seen in the Empire.
To be fair, he had to explain what happened to Darth Vader. The fact that he walked away with a demotion and not as a corpse is doing pretty good.
Fair. That guy's kind of unreasonable. Darth Vader's a jerk.
Darth Vader, famously unreasonable.
Yeah, he's a little unreasonable. He choked out my commanding officer the other day. That's so fucked up, man.
He just showed up to the Death Star 2 and said, "Could you do it faster?" And all the engineers had to be like, "No."
Yeah.
And then he killed a guy.
Killed a guy and said, "Let that be a lesson." Man, I would never say it around, but that guy sucks. You should totally go to HR about him.
All right. Turns out that the Imperials are already on Golrath. Whoops.
Yeah. And they haven't sent their finest based on what we're about to see.
I mean, other than Geel, he's walking around. He's been given a shit. They know that this is a former rebel base. They don't know about the hollow rocks just yet.
No,
but all they know is this is kind of a shit detail of scraping through where the rebels used to be.
Because, he basically is walking around going, I can't believe this. Right? It's just going
yeah, I had it all.
Yeah, now I'm here, but if I'm here, I'm going to do the job right.
Because, goddammit, I'm a professional.
Is sort of his attitude here. And he's talking to his second-in-command, Malka.
Yep.
And he's
saying, one of these days, I tell you.
Yeah, he's going to claw his way back up the chain of command because of Darth Vader or in spite of him.
I do. This is getting at something I do like in Star Wars the more we see of the Empire, which is just not everybody's 100% on board with the dark side of the Force stuff. Some of them are just, greedy or wanting to climb the ladder. It's one of the reasons I really like Director Krennic as a villain. The idea of middle management, just sniveling dudes who aren't, once again, aren't the embodiment of evil, but the more banal evil and the more just
well, I lost my management position and I have to get it back. Screw Vader.
It's not screw Vader as a Sith Lord, it's screw Vader as my superior.
One of my favorite books that has come out from Star Wars in the last 10 years is, surprise, surprise, a faux history book, treatise on the rise and fall of the Galactic Empire.
Right.
Great book if you're into that sort of history nerd stuff, but one of the running sub themes in it is just how aware of the spooky space wizard stuff was everybody else.
Talked about this kind of stuff broadly before, and it is always a thing where I sort of chalk it up to most people are well, that's what they say. I heard somebody heard that they saw Vader choke a guy with the Force, but did that really happen? Has it been blown out of proportion? We know it's real because we've seen it, but the idea of this guy being I don't know, I heard he strangled a guy in a meeting one time,
All you know is he's big, he's scary, he's maybe a robot, and he's got a laser sword. That's what I know.
I think it's mostly the costume people are intimidated by. He takes off that helmet. What is he? A shriveled corpse of a man? He's floating in his milk bath.
Like you said, the Empire hasn't really sent their best here because as Geel is saying, hey, we're going to scrub this place top to bottom, we cut to two stormtroopers with their helmets off, taking a smoke break.
This might be my favorite thing that's ever been in this comic. which is a stormtrooper smoking.
Here's Carly and what's the other one's name? Scrapper.
Scrapper is very funny. I didn't know people smoked in the world of Star Wars. Number one, has anyone ever busted out a cigarette?
John, how could you forget Sleaze Bagano offering
I know
death sticks?
I know death sticks, but we didn't. The death sticks weren't like a cig.
Yeah, they were.
Well, but not like it's just so commonplace a cigarette here.
That's a death stick in Star Wars.
You gotta look at what death sticks look like again.
They're basically cigarettes.
I thought they had a little bit more design to them.
I mean, absolutely not.
All right, let me take a look here. Because he does like hold the... I mean, yeah, they're like brightly colored. But yeah.
And like, anyway.
Yeah.
These two are on a smoke break.
No one's ever just been like, what a fucking bitch of a day today, am I right?
That's because these movies are for kids, John. We can't show people that are cool when smoking.
Yeah, not even Andor. Grown-up Star Wars shows that, you know.
Well, look, we're still in the second season. We don't know. As of this recording, anyway, we have yet to see anyone smoking some death
lights up a smoke going, that was a bitch, I'll tell you that right now. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. I'm glad I made it out of there. Woo! Woo, boy. I need a smoke.
Anyway,
Never heard anyone say I needed smoke in Star Wars.
The bad guys smoke in Star Wars. This we know.
Yeah, we know that they can at the very least.
But their smoke break is interrupted by an army of charging rebels appearing out of nowhere.
Well, I like that they've got... You also never see, like, even beyond the smoking, you never see a stormtrooper, like, with his helmet off, just taking her easy.
Yeah,
it's pretty unless it's Han Solo pretending to be a stormtrooper.
Sure. I like the casual air of these stormtroopers just being like, hey, take a load off, man. This is an insane detail. We don't have to take it that seriously.
And then they're like, oh, fuck, the exact worst time to do this.
They're coming straight at us.
Oh, my God, there's like 100 of them. And then they fire their blasters at them.
With a scratch, a sparatch, and a chiao, and a fadow-dow.
We get a blast them, which is just this classic Star Wars line.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
And then they're gone, and they're like, wait a minute, we couldn't have killed like 100 guys, right?
Like, there are no corpses that would... What?
That would be nuts, right?
Then Gil and Malka show up, and they're like, hey, we heard gunshots. What's happening here?
What the hell are you idiots doing down here?
And then in another panel for, like, really bad faces, we get Gil like, figuring everything out here.
Looking like a straight-up 90s Disney villain.
Yeah. He's channeling some Ratigan here.
What?
Yeah. Yeah, because Gil is written, like I said, kind of realistically, so when he's drawn outrageously cartoonish.
Yeah.
But yes, he's like, I see. He puts this together so fast.
How extraordinary. This debris seems to hold images of training exercises held when this plant was a rebel base.
And he is basically just like,
oh, here we go, Gil, baby. You're shot back to the top.
But he also puts together, like, hey, launch our TIE fighters, because if the rebels know about this, they're probably already on their way back here.
And they are.
Because, cut to, a rare sight indeed, Princess Leia in a flight suit.
Yeah, very rare. She's in a Y-Wing.
Yeah, because we got X-Wings and Y-Wings pouring in over Golrath.
Yeah. And so, what did they talk about? The jump high... yeah, they're just like, but take it easy, and then one of them explodes.
Yeah, their point ship explodes, because what's this? Oh, there are TIE fighters in the air, because we just saw the Imperial guy say, launch the TIE fighters.
And then, get ready, folks.
This is where this goes full Buck Rogers.
Yeah, you've never seen this in Star Wars, folks.
Because, okay, dogfight ensues. We got TIEs versus X-Wings. Yeah. Classic.
Yeah, very Star Warsy.
We follow a prepared plan as the rebel warriors lead their attackers northward, away from the magma smelting plant, as one Y-Wing breaks formation, swooping back to the volcanic crater housing the selfsame installation. And then Princess Leia jumps out using a jetpack.
Yeah. Number one, Okay, I mean, yes, obviously there are jetpacks in Star Wars, but they're pretty specific about who they belong to. Have we ever seen it? And aside from the movie that we shall not talk about, I'm trying to think. Have we ever really seen non-Mandalorians with jetpacks? Not to this extent, at least.
We've seen clone troopers with jetpacks in like Attack of the Clones and in Revenge of the Sith.
I want to point out, still a clone of a Mandalorian, though.
That's
Or
fair.
Yeah,
kind of.
Yeah, I know the Jango Fett thing is complex, but I mean, still at least on brand with that guy's vibe.
Sure, I will say I would have less of an issue with this if the jetpack didn't have nacelles like the Enterprise.
No, it is the most Buck Rogers looking jetpack.
Yeah.
I think that is key. It's just she's doing it so casually, like she does this all the time.
Mm-hmm. Which, who knows? Maybe this is a hobby.
Not based on any evidence I've seen prior to this, but okay.
I'm not with Princess Leia all the time. Are you?
I don't. Actually, I am. I know.
Oh, okay. I think the only one who can answer that question thoroughly is C-3PO. That's all I'm saying.
But it's just like she just commands this thing, and especially when we turn here, when she does this like land and the swooping of the jet stream is so Buck Rogers.
Yeah, and then her planting a bomb on the outside of the base.
Yeah. It seems we have a visitor, Malka, and I've also gained a few pounds since you last saw me. I'm even bigger now.
He's going full bad guy from Pocahontas.
By the way, a bad guy that's not often mentioned amongst Disney bad guys.
And nor should he be. I mean, look, Pocahontas has its issues.
Got a banger of a soundtrack though.
Sure. They all do.
Oh yeah, I mean, amazing songs. But I have that even as a kid. I didn't watch that one as much as some of the others.
But yeah, Leia's blasting her way inside, hoping that the sound of the dogfight will cover her entrance. But Malka, or not Malka, but Gil already sees her and recognizes that it's Princess Leia.
Check it out, it's Princess Leia. That's bad.
No, this guest is a special one and should be dealt with in the special manner. Her probable target is the reactor room, so station 2 guards there and have all remaining personnel removed to the command ship.
Yeah.
I will handle this situation myself.
Once again, ever to get promoted, this guy. He even talks about that later.
Look, I like that he has a goal and he's trying to follow through on it.
Look, man, I'm just climbing the corporate ladder like anybody else, okay? Get off my back.
Of all the bad guys we've had in this comic thus far, this guy's probably my second favorite.
Yeah. Well, I said I like that they make him fairly competent. And yeah, you can understand his goals. Even
actually,
if
third favorite.
Who are you putting at number 1?
Well, Crimson Jack, of course. Come on, Josh.
Yeah, I knew that was coming. Yeah. Wait, who beats this guy then?
Jabba the Hutt with 1 T.
That's right, a comic-specific character. I don't understand why they're doing Jabba's son in the new Mandalorian movie. They should have got the other Jabba the Hutt.
Jabba with 1 T could have done it, yeah.
1 T. Son of a bitch, it's Jabba the Hutt with 1 T. Anyway. Okay, here's the other crazy thing about this issue. When we turn the page, we get backstories for stormtroopers that are about to get it.
I mean, this is some grade A Claremontian narration.
Yeah, like there's no need for us to hear the backstories of these stormtroopers, and it's just like bam.
And when the caption boxes start with "for your information," I
think that's a first in a comic for me. That something starts with "for your information," just so you know. There's some things you might be curious about.
So, the sequence we get in these panels is Leia just taking out 2 guys, but while that's happening, we get this narration, and I think it's so... I love this. This is classic 80s comic book for me.
I like it in this context. If I read in a modern comic, I'd be like, the fuck?
Yeah. At the Imperial Academy, Stormtrooper Ben's Fig was top of the heap, highest test scores, best in sports, always got the girl.
This guy was the shit, man.
I love the term "best in sports."
Best in sports. Which ones? All of them.
All of them. Sports.
He was sportsing all around that school, man.
Considered officer material from the start, it had been generally assumed that after his tour of duty as a rookie trooper, he would become the youngest person ever to join the Emperor's personal staff.
Of course. Didn't you hear how well he did in sports?
Fuck, that's Ben's Fig? Damn, man.
I loved watching him play sports.
Oh, that time he went to the championship of sports.
He really excels at the games of sports.
In fact, it seemed that for his entire life, all Benz had to do was wait, and everything came to him. Yes, sir, everything, as Leia thracks him on the back of the head.
And now he's dead.
I guess he's gonna die, because these guys get left here when this place explodes.
No, these guys are dead by the end of this. But also, can I talk about this guy was such hot shit? How'd he end up on this terrible assignment?
It's just routine trooper duty, man. Sometimes you don't get to pick the assignments.
Hey, you got to pay your dues, Benz.
Yeah.
On the other hand, once upon a time, but yeah,
Benz's academy roommate, Tabbins V, had always lived in his friend's shadow as runner-up, next best, a tag-along. Matter of fact, it seemed that whatever came Ben Fig's way always came to Tabbins V second without fail.
He was only good at sports. He didn't excel at them. Like, I look at him, he's runner-up. It's like, that's still pretty good.
If you're second to Ben's Fig, I'd call that a pretty good life.
Eat with that, Jesus.
So yeah, Tabbins V also gets kicked in the head by Princess Leia.
He's fucking dead too. Now they're in hell together.
Funny how some things never change.
Yeah. Yeah, even worse, he got kicked in the head second. That's gotta suck.
This is such a weird page, and I love it so much.
No, it is so weird, but it is exactly what I look for in this comic.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So, after that sidetrack, we cut to Leia. She's doing some sabotage.
Yeah, and she's like, that's weird that they only stationed 2 guards. But anyway, I'm not going to think about it too much, because it's time to blow up this facility.
Yeah, we get some cool setting art. She's walking through this big empty facility, going to the reactor. It's okay. Mm-hmm.
And then she gets shazacked at.
She gets shazacked at. What? Laser fire?
Once again, always weirded out by how they occasionally use laser.
Yeah, I mean, the vernacular hasn't quite solidified yet.
Right, because we would know it more as like blaster bolts, right?
Yeah, no.
Right.
I do dislike her thought bubble of got to dive behind these storage crates as she dives behind some storage crates.
It's the classic thing that drives me insane about comics late 80s. Is that people are always describing what they're clearly doing. Oh no, I have to swing to that building. And I'm looking at him doing it. Anyway.
But Admiral Geel's here. He's shooting at Leia, and he's going to villain-splain at her for a little bit.
Although I will say, when we get to it, his plan is nonsense. Anyway.
You show an admirable agility, my dear, for an ex-senator. Oh yes, I recognize you. You're Leia Organa, princess of the royal family of Alderaan, and traitor to the Empire.
And you were putting Luke Skywalker on trial for treason. That's rich.
Anyway, yeah. And then, you'd blush like a Nova if I called you what I wanted to, mister.
Yeah, this is putting some words in Leia's mouth that are very, Buck Rogers heroin. You'd brush like a Nova if I called you what I wanted to, mister.
Carrie Fisher would have done a whole rewrite on this.
Man.
Yeah. She does default just like I'm Dale Arden from Flash Gordon. Anyway, so okay, here he's gonna get to what his plan, because she's like, you won't stop me. He's like, I don't intend to stop you.
Yeah, so his plan here is to seal the doors and blow them both up.
This is where it lost me, because I'm like, okay, this guy's whole thing is he wants to climb the ladder, and then he very quickly turns to suicide for weird reasons.
I mean, if loyalty to the Empire is a weird reason, which I would say it is, but...
Well, no, but here's the thing. I don't understand where the destruction of the base helps him.
It's not the destruction of the base, it's the destruction of Princess Leia.
But that's what I mean. Then just kill her. And because that's the thing, he's just like, I'm not just gonna kill you. I'm gonna kill, because he talks about, he has a whole line here. Let me see where it is, where he's like, I have no intention of stopping you. In fact, I'll even help you. That's why I allowed you to get this far. You're one of the primary leaders of the rebellion, and your death in the destruction of this complex would deal a crippling blow to your followers' morale, even more so than any information we could extract. But why not both? Why not kill her and get the information out of here?
I guess it's just because he's not confident in his ability to, like, solo Princess Leia, and I don't blame him for that.
I mean, that's true, but it's so fast he jumps to that, I guess, is my thing.
I mean, Gil is a competent enough bad guy that I trust that he's like, look, I've reviewed the reports. The last 2 times this lady's been put into a jail cell, she killed everybody on the way out. We need to guarantee the kill on this one.
I get that. It didn't quite come together for me.
Yeah, I just also love the idea of the, like, Imperial, the officer who is actually buying into the cause.
Sure.
So many times we get bad guys that are like, look, I'm here for personal power, and that's pretty much it. But a true devotee of the Empire is a scary bad guy.
I guess I didn't get that sense until he has that sense right now. Is what I would say.
Yeah, and I think I maybe read more into his previous appearances when, like, his whole thing is, like, he told the truth to Darth Vader. He wasn't trying to throw anyone under the bus. This guy is actually bought into the system.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I don't. Once again, these comics are graded on a scale.
Yeah, that's fair. So anyway, yeah, he's sealing them in. He sets the reactor to blow up, and Leia's just like, he's serious, dead serious. I've got to come up with a cockamamie scheme to beat him.
Because she surrenders, and he's like, wait, what?
I didn't see that.
But she surrenders with having done something in the gutters of these panels.
Yeah.
She surrenders having tied a string to her boot, which leads to a wagon in which she has placed her jetpack.
I have to say, I did have to go back and chart. Okay, got it. Yeah, got it. Okay. Like, because like you said, it's done after the fact. You have to be like, how did this?
Now.
Okay.
I need to reiterate that I have said the word wagon.
Yes.
This is not a hover sled. This is not some kind of, like, transport that we've seen in actually quite a few Star Wars things at this point that, like, transports things around a cargo bay. This is full on Red Rider, 4 wheels, handle.
It's exactly what you're picturing when we say wagon.
Is one of the least Star Warsy things I've seen in this book.
This comic falls to that too many times when they're just like, I'm tired of coming up with stuff. Just make it a wagon. She
pulls the string, the rocket pack fires, the wagon goes crashing into some boxes. It distracts Gil momentarily.
Oh? Is he going,
And then it shoots him in the face, because I guess she aimed it that well.
She just rules.
I mean Princess Leia.
Rule, but they've made her rule. I mean, things really worked out for her here.
Yeah. So she leaps into action. She hits the button. She makes the doors open. She runs away. Gil gets back up. Reactor critical. 7 minutes, 21 seconds. This page has 0 dialogue on it.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
This is a rare moment in which the page lets the actions speak for themselves.
And I love it, because that's what modern comics are like, and why I like them more than a lot of older comics. And then even when you turn the page, there's not a ton of dialogue. He sees the reactor critical, then you turn the page, he just picks up his hat and goes, damn.
I love that sequence. This is really well done.
That's extremely well done. All props to that, yeah.
Like, this is solid visual storytelling.
And then here is where we learn that apparently Lando was flying a Y-Wing.
Yeah. We get a voice coming from a Y-Wing saying, Luke's flying cover for us, princess, and I'm starting my approach run. Keep that harness hook as high as possible. And Leia says, okay, Lando. Do we ever see Lando inside the cockpit? No, of course not. But he's here.
I love the idea that they're like, say it's Lando. People are going to be asking, where's Lando?
Where's Lando?
I mean, I have been saying that for a while now. Also, Leia's sky hooking now.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
That's kind of cool. I mean, I love a skyhook in reality.
Glad she had a skyhook and they didn't have to rely on that jetpack she flew in on.
I know. Also, I gotta say though, I don't know how much these things can slow down, but like skyhooks are done with propellered planes, not jets. So it feels like
Y-wings are like famously slower than X-wings. They're bombers. They're not.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
And these things have space magic hovering engines.
I'm being a little nitpicky on that.
Sure.
This winch will pull, and I also just like the idea about like, we just sure do that, so they throw on a line going, "Don't worry, it's gonna wheel you up. You'll be in the ship." There you go, nerds.
Yep. Zoop. She's up in the ship.
Yeah.
Nice pickup, guys.
Yeah. All right.
Meanwhile, we have Gil like slowly walking outside. And he's like, sees the X-Wing flying past, and he's like, oh, it'd be stupid to shoot at this, but I'm pissed. And he starts shooting at the X-Wing.
You die, Luke Skywalker! Bow, bow, bow. Pew, 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 pew. Shrek.
And he does, in fact, get a lucky shot on one of Luke's rear engines.
He facams it.
Right in the facam.
I do like...
I'm loath to admit it, but I do feel a little better.
God, I really like Gil.
I do too. I actually really do like Gil. Gil is one of the most understandable human characters we've had in this comic.
Yeah.
I understand his motivations most of the time, yeah.
And then when he gets into his like big TIE bomber, he's just like, all right, get us out of here. I got to explain this fucking mess to Darth Vader.
I do like the pilot going like, hey, Darth Vader just called. He said, great job finding this, buddy. He's like, Jesus Christ.
He's going to demote me again. I'm going to be a private soon. Oh, Christ.
He's going to be cleaning trash compactors on the detention level.
Fucking hell.
This poor guy.
I love his last line here. Is like, after all, we don't want to keep Lord Vader waiting. Oh, no, we wouldn't want to make the gentleman angry.
That guy have that I don't. He's mostly robot at this point. Damn it.
So yeah, everyone swoops away, and then the base explodes. And we get a really good Carrie Fisher-looking panel down here on the bottom right.
Extremely, one of the best likenesses they've had for a split second.
As she says, mission accomplished. Okay, squads, let's head home.
And everybody takes off into light speed except for...
Everyone takes off except for one pilot going, huh? And wouldn't you know it's Luke Skywalker.
What?
That lucky shot out his hyperdrive.
Damn it.
I'm in a crippled ship, running from an entire squadron of TIE fighters, alone. Darn it, there's never a Han Solo around when you need one.
Yeah, that lazy bastard being frozen in carbonite when I need him most. Curse him.
Always asleep on the job in that carbonite.
God damn it.
And
me off. Yeah, anyway.
Up next, we have the Water Bandits.
We sure do.
I don't know what that means. It was also briefly mentioned on this page that there is a Star Wars annual. We know we've been skipping the Star Wars annuals. We will get to them.
We've heard the comments, and by that I mean no one's written in about it. But but don't worry, we're discussing plans about how to discuss the annuals specifically at a later date.
Yes, because like most annuals, they don't super play into the ongoing plot. I mean, the fact that most issues don't play into the ongoing plot sort of detracts from that a little bit.
We were shocked that there was any continuity in this issue. So, anyway, there you go, Gurgani. Well, if people want to check out more from us, they can head over to our Patreon page, which is patreon.com/punchupent. That's punchup, ENT. Get cool exclusive bonus content from all the shows on the Punch Up Entertainment Network. Once again, that's patreon.com/punchupent.
It's true. And as we mentioned in this episode, and because I think it is the best way to watch this show is to do it over on our YouTube page. That's youtube.com/@punchupentertainment. There you can read the books along with us, see Luke's crazy face in the third page of this book, as well as the solid visual storytelling we were talking about at the end there. I think this book's honestly like going up in my estimation over the Michelini era of it so far.
I think it's seen a marked improvement with him writing it for sure.
Yeah. But while you're there, please like, comment, subscribe. It super helps us out. But while you're there, you can also watch all of the other shows on the Punch Up Entertainment Network, including our YouTube exclusive stuff like Punch Up Plays, where Elliot Lewis and I are plowing our way through the Mass Effect franchise. I think by the time this episode drops, we might be on Mass Effect 2.
Whoa.
The Dark Middle chapter.
Yeah. The best one?
There's an argument to be made for sure, but I think the argument between like Mass Effect 2 and Mass Effect 3 is basically the same argument between Empire and Jedi, quite honestly.
Yeah, I mean it's always that thing about the second one is always kind of the most appealing of any like trilogy.
Because like you have the most meat on the bones to play with, and you don't need to like possibly fumble things with any sort of ending.
I'm an Empire guy. I'm a Two Towers guy. You know.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's often where I'm a Dark Knight guy. You know,
and I have the opinion that the Battle of Pelennor Fields in Return of the King is maybe the best grand battle fantasy sequence ever put to film. So that's just me.
And I'm a Helm's Deep guy. So you know what?
Yeah, fair enough.
To each their own. And yet we can still be friends now.
It's true. Despite those irrevocable differences.
I do not have enough investment in that franchise to get upset about anything.
But I think that is going to do it for this.
Yes.
For us this time. As always, I have been Mike Gargoni.
I'm John Campbell.
And remember, may the panel be with you.